All aboard! Hello, beautiful people, and thank you so much for joining us here on Great Day, Louisiana. I'm your host, Malik Mingo, aboard the Creole Queen because it is time for another one-tank trip sponsored by AAA. Today, we are headed to St. Bernard Parish, and what's cool about this area is that it's only about a 5-mile drive from downtown New Orleans. You can, of course, get to St. Bernard Parish by car, but did you know you could also get there by boat? St. Bernard Parish is known as New Orleans' most historic neighbor, and what better way to learn about the history of this area than on a boat? Here on the Creole Queen, you can take a historical cruise to the parish, and we are doing that today, everybody. Let's head inside and learn a little bit more about the history of St. Bernard. Cheers to you, Charles.
Cheers, Malik. Welcome to the Creole Queen.
Thank you so much for having us, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I've made it on board, and joining me now is Mr. Charles Chestnut. He is the lead historian here on the Creole Queen. We are enjoying some hurricanes. Here we go.
They are good.
Nice and strong, just how I like it. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I am so excited to talk to you about the Creole Queen. This is something I grew up seeing. This is something I've been on before, and I'm on it again right now, everybody. Tell me a little bit of the history of this boat.
Well, the boat's 40 years old this year. It was actually launched in 1983. It's about 200 feet long, about 30 feet wide, about 5 feet of water underneath, draws 5 feet. We run up to about 800 people on this boat.
Amazing, and a lot of people come on this boat for the historical cruise, which you lead most times. You can take it from here in New Orleans all the way over to the Chalmette Battlefield.
Right.
What does the historical cruise look like?
Well, we board everyone at 2 o'clock. We take off, and I talk for about half an hour on the way down to the Chalmette Battlefield, where the Battle of New Orleans was actually fought 208 years ago.
Let them know.
We talk about for about half an hour down there, talk about the history of New Orleans and certainly the events that kind of led up to the battle, and then how it all kind of came to a head in the War of 1812 here with Andrew Jackson and 4,000 Americans against 8,000 British. But that is the story of the battlefield. That's what we do down there. So when we get down there, either myself or one of the Rangers will do a talk about the battle, and then we for about an hour, and then we turn around and we come back.
And you talk some more, and it's amazing because, you know, locals, tourists alike all enjoy your tour. He's talking from the time you all get on to the time that you all dock at the battlefield?
Yes, so there's a half-hour stretch or so where I'm talking the entire time. And then after that, if people don't want to listen, there's going to be music playing on board. There's always people on board that stick around because they just want to eat, drink, and be merry. You know, this is New Orleans after all.
That's right.
And then when we go back, there'll be music playing inside the entire way back. So if people are here to laisser le bon temps rouler, it is absolutely just fine.
It's so cool, and like you mentioned, everybody, you can eat, you can drink. They have hurricanes on board. There's a buffet that you can actually add onto your ticket. So many cool things you can check out here on the Creole Queen. Thank you so much, Charles, for joining us today. Cheers to you, my good sir. Sailing the Mississippi River to get to St. Bernard Parish, everybody, was amazing. The food on the Creole Queen was great, and the drinks were even better. As you all can see, we have docked now because it is time to head over to our next destination. Let's go meet up with the St. Bernard Parish historian to learn more about the Chalmette Battlefield.
The Chalmette Battlefield is a unit of the Jean Lafitte National Historical Park and Preserve. And in 1939, it became the Chalmette National Historical Park, the first national park in the state of Louisiana. It commemorates the American victory in the Battle of New Orleans. And of course, perhaps the greatest result of that American victory was that American ownership of New Orleans was guaranteed, and by American ownership of the river, the Louisiana Purchase. On this battlefield, there were Choctaws and other Native Americans. There were free people of color, enslaved Africans. There were French-speaking people, Spanish-speaking people. There were Italian-speaking people. There were people who were Creoles from Saint-Domingue, which is today Haiti. So that it was a tremendous polyglot of people. Of course, one of the most important things to see when one visits the Chalmette Battlefield is the Chalmette obelisk. Andrew Jackson actually laid the cornerstone, or was present when the cornerstone was laid, one of the very last things that he did. In terms of the design of the obelisk, it was designed by Newton Richards. He was a New Englander, and some of the most important cemetery architecture remaining in New Orleans was designed by Newton Richards. He won the contest for the design of the monument. I think it was in 1855. Construction began shortly thereafter. Another place to see at the Chalmette Battlefield is the Malik House. It was built in the 1830s, and it is a classic Creole vernacular style home. You can see houses like this in the Caribbean, variants of it. It's a pavilion type house, room entering into room, 2 stories, and it's designed to ventilate. It was built as a maison de repose. It was built as a retirement house for Madame Malik, who had lived in New Orleans, and dated to the 1830s, but it was the type of home that one could have seen built from the mid-18th century forward. Madame Malik wanted to live here because one of the most celebrated victories in early 19th century Western world happened here. Fazanville was a self-contained community. There was a grocery store, a barroom, and then, of course, ultimately, the enslaved and their descendants, many of them had practiced trades when they had worked on plantations. Many of them were coppersmiths. Many of them were carpenters, ironsmiths. So by the beginning of the 20th century, the people living in Fazanville were highly respected in St. Bernard as people who were tradesmen. There's a new visitor center was built following Katrina. The one that was there that had been constructed in 1984 was, of course, ruined by the floodwaters of Katrina. So they took this opportunity to enlarge the visitor center so that now there is a partially interactive, interpretive display there, which is very good, very well done. And of course, Eastern National Parks and Monuments Association does the gift shop there, and there's an excellent array of books and other things that relate to the Battle of New Orleans.
The Chalmette Battlefield is such an amazing experience, everybody. You all have to come and check it out. I love my experience so much that I had to get a magnet at the gift shop. And don't forget, everybody, every year they celebrate the anniversary of the battle on the weekend closest to January 8th. So come and check this place out. For more information about the Chalmette Battlefield, as well as the Creole Queen, head over to the St. Bernard Parish Tourist Commission's website, which is visitstbernard.com. You can also check out the Louisiana Office of Tourism website as well. That is louisianatravel.com.